Hello everyone, this is Arnaud Delapierre, and I am delighted to see you again for our trading meeting. Today, we are going to focus on an often misunderstood subject, reading the order book, also known as the DOM, as well as the technique of tape reading. On the agenda, a complete analysis to understand how these tools can help you better interpret the market.
The goal is to help you progress by mastering the raw information hidden behind the prices. Stay until the end as we, au cours au cours I think we're really going to review
everything. So, get comfortable and get ready to discover some concrete tips and effective. The order book is a real-time table that reveals the quantities of buy and sell orders at different price levels. When we talk about the DOM, the depth of market, we refer to this view where we see the depth and liquidity of the market available. By observing the distribution of orders, we can try to anticipate the movements taken at short term. It's a bit like peering under the hood to see how the buyers and sellers. It requires some practice, but once you master the logic, clarity is definitely gained. The most interesting part of the order book is often the level where the best, I would say, buyer and the best seller are located. We sometimes talk about the bid and the ask, these reference points that indicate the current quotation range. Closely observing the evolution of orders around the bid and ask allows for spotting the intentions of those who want to buy or sell quickly. When buyers become the majority, we feel upward pressure, while an excess of sellers can signal a risk of decline. It is all based on a precise and careful reading of the displayed volumes. Before continuing, I would like to quickly tell you about an app that can simplify your life. It's called Notrade, available on iOS and Android, free,
and quite powerful for receiving trading signals. The strong point is the ergonomics. You set your preferences in a few seconds and receive targeted notifications on cryptocurrencies. On the stock market, Forex, well, there's really absolutely everything on it.
We can thus follow market changes wherever we are without being glued to our desk. I had the opportunity to look into it and found the approach very practical. I now use it myself daily. In short, if you are looking for a reliable tool, Notrade, test it and see how it suits you. Now let's return to our topic, the DOM.
The DOM is just one piece of the puzzle. To complete the vision, we are going to use tape reading,
also called time on sale. It is the flow of orders executed in real time with the exact quantity and price of each transaction. It allows seeing the actual commitment of the participants. Is there strong buying interest, or is it rather timid? By cross-referencing DOM and TAP, we can sometimes distinguish between what is displayed, the pending orders, and what actually materializes, the executed orders. This double reading can provide a real advantage. Thanks to tap reading, we can identify if a large buy order is quickly absorbed by sellers, or if it drives the price up. This real-time observation helps us measure the strength of a movement, as it reveals how the players react to large volumes. If there is a series of purchases that doesn't manage to make the price take off, one might say that the market is resisting. Conversely, a modest volume that triggers a significant price move often indicates a more marked sensitivity.
Thus, if we see flurries of successive orders at the same price, it's sometimes a sign of support or resistance forming. To make good progress, it's important to cross-reference this information. The depth of market shows us the density of liquidity and the levels that attract attention.
The TAP shows us the actual transactions with their timing and intensity. By combining these two readings, we can refine our diagnosis and better understand the forces at play. The idea is to identify if the large orders shown in the book are genuine or simply placed to influence the perception of other traders. By then observing the actual flow on the tap, we valid or we question the credibility of these orders. Sometimes we encounter practices aimed at creating an illusion in the book. Some traders place large orders to scare the market, but withdraw these orders as soon as they are approached. This method, sometimes called spoofing, distorts the overall view. We can also come across on iceberg orders when a larger volume is hidden behind a very small displayed quantity. Tap reading is useful for uncovering these tricks because it reveals the reality of executions. If a supposedly huge order is never executed, it might just be a bait to attract or scare others. The speed of execution on the tap can also give clues about the market's nervousness. When transactions happen very quickly, it means that activity and volatility are present. A sudden slowdown can suggest that participants are hesitating before repositioning. It's also important to keep an eye on the average size of lots traded. Repeated small lots in quick succession may indicate multiple discrete participants, while a single massive lot indicates a movement more. Concentration. All this helps refine the understanding and dynamics of trades and adapt decisions. Reading the order book and the tip live requires good observational skills. One must react quickly to sudden exchanges while keeping a view coherent. When someone places a large order on multiple levels, it can indicate an intention, strong to buy or sell. But it is always necessary to check if there is execution to confirm the sincerity of this order. That's what we saw a little earlier. Once familiar with these movements, one can try to detect signals of reversal or continuation. The important thing is not to be fooled by appearances and to remain flexible. Train your eye to quickly identify where the most action is. In tens, certain patterns are quite recurrent. For example, volume plateaus that regularly form at the same price, creating areas of interest for many traders. When we see strong buying volumes appearing across several levels, sometimes it can indicate support. Conversely, multiple levels of massive sales can block the rise. The idea is to identify these friction points before the market reacts in order to prepare in advance. One can then adjust their plan accordingly, without having to improvise everything at the last moment. These visual cues have already been used by experienced flow traders and are still relevant today. The adrenaline also rises when following the tape live. Seeing a sequence of orders that executes in your favor can give the impression of holding a golden opportunity. Conversely, a sudden wave of counter orders can cut confidence and sow panic. Managing emotions remains a challenge. An excess of euphoria or fear can blind us. Ideally, clear rules should be established to avoid impulsive reactions. The order book and the tape are just tools. It is our discipline that allows us to extract something reliable and sustainable. Always maintain a minimum of composure to analyze data without haste. It is going to be interesting too, to adjust one's view according to the horizon being targeted. A scalper seeking very quick gains will study the order book intensively for small movements. A more patient trader, on the other hand, will focus more on liquidity zones in the order book to position themselves or to plan their entries and exits on a wider price range. The important thing is to know yourself and understand which approach best matches your personality. Each style can benefit from the DOM and the tap, provided they are interpreted according to one's own objectives. This flexibility in analysis is a major asset for long-term progress. To train, it can be useful to spend some time just observing the order book, the tap, without trying to take a position. The idea is to identify your visual cues, to notice how the market reacts to certain volumes, and, why not, note the repetitions that you can notice. The more we watch these flows, the more our brain integrates the mechanisms of supply and demand. It's also important to take a break now and then, of course, because staring at your screen for hours can be exhausting. But with a methodical approach, we learn step by step to capture more reliable signals. Thank you for watching this video to the end. We reviewed the reading of the order book, the DOM, and the basics of tap. I'll remind you, the reading for better understand what is happening behind the scenes of the market. Remember that these tools combined with in-depth work can make a difference in your approach. Feel free to subscribe to the channel and like this video if you found it useful. On our side, we will continue to share other topics. to help you progress on your trader journey. This was Arnaud Delapierre. See you soon in another session.